Hello, this is Chaneta, author of How to Have This and That. Let me ask you a question. What state are you living from? Where do you spend most of your time mentally? Think about that. So, some may ask, so what is a state? Neville Goddard says a state is an attitude of mind, a state of experience with a body of beliefs which you live by. Always expressing a state, you identify yourself with it by saying, I am poor or I am rich. I am known or I am unknown. I am wanted or I am unwanted. Or I am healthy or I am ill, etc., etc. States can be present moment experience or states you imagine. Another way to say it is your state of consciousness embodies specific beliefs like the kind of thoughts and feelings you have in a particular state. Your state of being is who you are, how you perceive yourself, and the vantage point from which you look at the reality around you. How do you perceive your reality? The thoughts that enter your head, your awareness, the feelings that arise, the assumptions you have, and even the actions you take derive from your state of consciousness. You have the power to occupy infinite states. We all have. For example, going from one state to another at any time, anywhere you want to. You can shift to another state easily and effortlessly. Once you occupy a state, you fertilize it with a kind of thought seeds which is in line with that particular state. Therefore, make sure you occupy the state of choice so that your experience can be what you want it to be. Surrender completely to the state you wish to manifest and don't look left or right. Stay in that state and occupy it until you reap the harvest that you want. Now, some states will manifest overnight. Some states will manifest in a week, 3 weeks, 1 month. Some states actually take years for you to experience that particular state. It depends on a lot of things, belief system, consciousness, etc. But of course, the more you stay in a state of choice, the faster your manifestation. God's law actually is conditional. You cannot be in one state and not suffer the consequences of not being another state. For example, you cannot be healthy and ill at the same time. You cannot be rich and poor at the same time. You cannot be happy or happy at the same time. You are either famous or you are not. You and I are free to imagine any state in the world, and imagine that state, you can occupy it. If you persist in a particular state, that state will harden into fact. It will be your experience. So assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and your assumptions will harden into fact. Another way of putting it is, believe you have received it, and you shall. So how do you manifest? Know that your consciousness is your only reality. Know what you want to be and what you want to have. Then assume the feeling of being in that state which you want to realize, and remain faithful to your assumption, that is, living and acting on the conviction that you already are what you want to be or already have what you want to have. Whatsoever you desire, believe you have received it and you shall have. Mark 11:24. You already have to believe you have it to have it. So although your senses may deny it, look around you, it doesn't look possible, that's not your business. Keep in that state until it manifests for you. Remember, everything are but states. If you like your present state, stay in that occupied state. But dare to assume that you're already living the preferred state if you don't like where you are right now. And for peace sake, don't look left or right at the news and what's happening out there, because we know it's usually negative. So continue to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and no power in the world will stop it from manifesting for you if you persist in that state. For example, if you don't like living in a state of lack, you can live in a state of plenty. If you don't like the feeling of living from the state of illness, switch to living in the state of health. We're not powerless. We can change what state we wish to occupy at any time. It is harder to live in a fulfilled state if you are constantly concerned with the outside world, which in a lot of instances dwell on the negative. It is good to remember that you are in the world, but you're not of the world. You are a visitor to this world, and as a visitor, you can visit any place at any time. That is different states of consciousness. So, how do you live from different states? You adjust yourself to a certain state by feeling it real. For reality is controlled by feeling, believing, imagining. Affirm, I am possessing it now, whatever it might be for you, and persist in that state until you see the state manifested for you. And then go about your business, because in a way nobody knows and it's not our business. That state will be fulfilled for us because we'll be led into different ways for us to get to the state that we want to. Mark 11:24, believe you have received and you will. Test it for yourself. It works. I know it does. Test it for yourself. So how do you believe that you receive it? If at this moment you believe that you have received that which you hadn't had before, your world will look completely differently to you. You will be living a completely different way. You'll be doing other kinds of things than you're doing right now. You'll be acting in a different way from what you are right now. You'll be acting from havingness and not lack, right or right. The bottom line is, how would you feel, speak, act if you're living in the state of choice? Now feel it real and keep acting that way until you're actually living that way. So make sure you occupy your preferred state predominantly, for you will reap the harvest of that state. When the harvest manifests and you don't like it, remember you are the one that occupied that particular state, and you are the one, of course, going to manifest it. So don't forget that, because we're inclined to forget that, and we start looking all outside at this person, that person, and blaming everybody for where we are, forgetting we occupy that state, as within, so without. That means whatever you saw in your mental field, it will manifest for you. Everything is done according to its nature. You cannot expect a pear tree to bear apple fruits. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. So continue assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled and go about your business. Just keep believing and you will see the result will be what you want. You'll be experiencing what you want. Because you start seeing the world differently. You start perceiving things differently. Opportunities will, obstacles will become opportunities. Everything you do, good or bad, depends on the state you live from predominantly. So remember, you cannot be poor and rich at the same time. You cannot be ill and healthy at the same time. You cannot be happy and unhappy at the same time. It is your choice for which state you occupy predominantly. So consciously connect to your power line, which is I am, the God within you. Stay positive. Believe that your desires have already come to pass. Stay in the state of choice, no matter what the outside world appears to be the contrary. And then watch the magical manifestations in your life. It works that way. Test it for yourself. I dare you. I am Chaneta, author of How to Have This and That. Thank you for buying my books on Amazon. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up and share with your family and friends. Thank you for doing that. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more inspiration. Contact me for speaking engagements and workshops. Follow me on Facebook, Chaneta via Cummings Lewis. My fan page is Health, Wealth, and Time Freedom, which applies to Instagram and Twitter as well. Thank you for being a part of my world where everything and all things are possible. Thank you. Be awake, aware, and conscious. Yes, you can have this and that.